Are we live?
Yes, that was
Okay.
what that blink was for.
Oh, surreptitious and subtle signals. No wonder all my previous relationships fell apart. Hello, everyone. My name is Darionator. I am your host for the evening, and I'm joined with my good friend Meyer, your co-host for the evening. And unfortunately, we have some bad news. It has neither been a fortnight nor is this a sort of frontier, so everything you know is a lie.
Sadly.
We shall be talking about Star Citizen, though. And it's a good day, though, in that regard, because we can get to talk about Star Citizen.
That's right. 3.7.
And I said that last week.
You did indeed.
I'm trying to make it a catchphrase. 3.7's out, as you were trying to say before I so rudely interrupted.
It's out. And with it is a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about a bunch of them today. Talking about what we like, what we don't like, and just in general, like I suppose our first impressions of the patch.
Love it. It's at least the way it is now in Wave 1. It's probably the best patch we've had this year in terms of stability. In terms of performance stability, okay, maybe you could argue it, but it's still PTU Wave 1, so
Right.
there's still a few 30Ks.
30Ks, server-side errors. Client-side, not so many, if not any at all so far that I've experienced in Wave 1.
It did.
You did?
You don't remember yesterday?
Oh yeah, you mentioned.
Yeah, it kept crashing with the group relaunches. Yeah, that's a thing we should investigate. Yeah, group launch, Insta CTD. That happened for me and for Godwin as well.
At the same time.
Is a fan of the channel who joined us as well.
Let's start at a viewer. I'm not so sure about fan. Do we have fans? I don't really know how fans work.
Viewers who stick around, I think, can be called fans.
Right. It's a weird kind of thing, though. I mean, like, to go on a tangent, like, people on Twitch, they call their viewers viewers. People on YouTube, they call their viewers fans. I don't know. It just sounds... there's no difference. It's just a title, but
No.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, but then you have Twitch has followers, YouTube has subscribers, Twitch has subscribers, YouTube has members.
Yeah.
A
lot of people call them stalkers.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, right, though, that the term fan to me just kind of feels a bit too like, I have fans, you know? Like, it doesn't yeah. Anyway.
They're fanatical in their devotion.
That's right.
And that's where the word fan comes from, you know, fanatic.
Yeah, I just realized, right? Like, we are using the same background as last week, a background we could have used because we're talking about 3.7. It would have been perfect. The Banu Merchantman, because we're two individual cockpits right now, aren't we?
You mean Defender, right?
Yes, the Defender Man. Defenderman, yeah.
Is that one of the budget Avengers?
Yes, Defenderman.
And he's Jewish, apparently.
Yes, he
is. Just like Spider-Man.
Yes, like Spider-Man and Spatchaman from 30 Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were talking about Star Citizen, weren't we?
Oh, were we?
I think.
But yeah, I suppose we could have done a Defender sort of overlay. Maybe if we have a special episode devoted only talking about Banu stuff, I'll make it into a Defender stuff. Even these rectangular frames that we have, I'll make them flow around into the cockpit. Yeah, and we'll have the chat show up in the open mouth of the frog.
Oh,
because yeah.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. Anyway, so yeah, the Banu Defender was one of the things that came out with this patch. It looks amazing. It flies okay, but mostly it looks amazing.
It flies like Banu Herald.
A Banu Herald. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, what is its role in the game? I mean, like, the way I see it, it's essentially like what? It's a snub ship for the Banu merchantmen, but it has its own quantum drive. It's
Yeah, because it's not. It's an escort
right.
for the merchantman, not a snub.
So
It's not something that docks and just sits there.
you don't think it will? There has been
I
a
think.
rumor on the internet, you know, and the internet's a very trustworthy place for
Oh yeah,
facts.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Where people are like, they think that the defender will be able to dock onto the merchantman and be a turret that can detach and fly on its own. I mean, it would be
No, I don't
cool.
buy it.
You don't buy it. You don't buy it.
No, I
Ah,
don't buy
fair
it.
enough. Fair enough.
No,
Uh,
no. Just because of the way it's unless the mount for the defender would be movable, but then it's like it's way too much mass to rotate around just for those 4 guns at the front.
right.
I
Well,
think.
if I'm right, you know where to send those credits because, like,
Once we get that, because we still haven't got that, sending credits.
True, but what we did get with this patch, awesome segue, is of course
mission sharing.
Mission sharing. Yes, I've been
Yes.
waiting for this since we actually got this universe in the first place. So it's been really cool to
It's
see
currently
it.
broken.
It is
J patch.
broken.
Yeah, I think the party system is kind of broken currently in the J patch.
Okay.
I tried to do a couple of things with Mike, like I mentioned. I played with Mike today.
Right.
We were able to get into a party together, but he wasn't able to share any missions with me.
Oh.
I just didn't get the prompt, and even though I helped him out, I didn't get any of that space cheddar.
But yesterday, I was able to share that missing persons mission, wasn't I? It was the same patch. It might have just been with a server because there
right,
have
could
been
be,
some
yeah.
funky things happening this
Yes,
patch. It's not
VoIP
all,
as well.
Yeah. Right
That
now
was hilarious.
Yeah.
We tried to get VoIP running, and I said nothing.
The word nothing.
I said the word nothing. Yeah, and half an hour later, you hear me say nothing on the VoIP channel.
Yeah. I believe how it works is that like there is some sort of like server that they pass things through that isn't linked to the actual like game server itself. So when that's having issues, then like things like that happen.
Yeah, there's definitely more than a single connection going on for the entire game. I think also the entire mercantile simulation is on a separate connection as well.
Okay.
For purchasing and restocking of shops as well. That happens on a separate thing, and VoIP also happens on a separate connection. So different physical servers handling all that. But yeah, even though it all integrates into the same visual experience in the end.
Yeah. So that's fair enough, really.
So once everything works great in 3.7, it's going to be a fantastic patch.
Once it works.
Once it works.
I mean, like,
and this is why it's still Wave 1 3.7?
Wave 1 3.7 patch 3.7J. I mean, sometimes these PTUs run the entire alphabet and back again, like twice, like an Excel spreadsheet.
But it's, other than these inconsistencies, I would say it's a very strong patch, and I could actually see more waves opening up soon.
Yeah,
at least the next one. How many are there anyway? Are there just 2 waves, or is it
4?
Did it go to
right?
Is it 4 waves? Well,
Something.
Evocati.
Then Wave 1.
No, it's called Wave 0, basically. Evocati. Wave 1, which is subscribers and concierge, and then we have what?
Wave 2, which is just like testers, and then
and then everybody else open.
When it first came about, I do not think that Wave 1 was concierge and subscribers. It was just Wave 1. But then they quickly caught on the idea that maybe it would be better, like it would help financially if they did have that little bit of a thing.
Wasn't Wave 1 basically going by
It was numbers based. It was incremental.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were the very first person to register an account at RSI, that's you were the first to be invited into
I
BTU.
think it was still an activity based thing. It was definitely based on activity and also
Okay.
using issue council stuff. But it was like wave one was like, okay, the first 1,000 people. Wave two was then 10,000 or
Oh, okay.
5,000, then 10,000, then the rest.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's what I recall, but I'm sure there's a documentation somewhere, but that's what I recall anyway.
Oh, it doesn't matter really. Anyway, it's still relatively limited, but I could see it opening up very
Oh,
soon.
yeah.
Yeah. And even though they've announced that they introduced some aggressive logging right now in these patches, and they warned that performance would go down, it's actually quite a bit better than it is in live right now for
Right.
some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, you could say maybe it's because there are less people in it,
But
but
that's not true because
yeah,
all the servers are full that I've been going to.
exactly.
It could be that there's just a more frequent turnaround and there's less garbage accumulation.
Yeah, because those servers don't have the longest lifespan.
No, no. Could that was hilarious. Uh, the shortest I've seen in JPatch
Mm-hmm.
was I didn't even manage to get out of my hab.
That's
And
terrible.
I knew it was a fresh server because it just crashed. And I relogged as soon as it came back. And then I couldn't open the door, and 30K happened a couple of seconds afterwards.
Yeah. On the other hand, the Australian survey yesterday lasted us hours after like several 5-minute sessions in like EU and NA.
Mm.
And we may have just given away the secret formula there for anybody who wants to have a longer session. But yeah, try doing different
or
regions.
maybe it's just Australians are more laid back. They're not, or maybe we've just discovered a fundamental difference between Europeans and Australians. It's like something that we do, but they don't, is what's crashing the servers. Maybe because we're the
Crikey.
right way up and they're upside down.
Maybe.
Have you tried playing upside down yet?
I don't have the right suspension system for it, sadly, so I know I can't.
But anyway, were we talking about 3.7?
We were
I think
talking
were
about
talking-
features. The next
Yes.
feature that comes to mind is, oh, I'll do that one later. Hand mining. Hand mining was pretty awesome.
Mhm.
Hand mining works pretty much exactly like it does for the prospector. So anyone who has done prospector mining before will find it pretty easy to learn or adapt to.
The only thing you can't do is ping your surroundings to get the locations for the mineable rocks. You have to use your eyes, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm sure that the mobiGlas, once it gets its new like just everything, its new HUD, its new things like that, will eventually get some sort of scanning thing for the 4
Oh, yeah.
FPS. Chris Roberts mentioned as much in like the last vertical slice of Squadron 42 that he wanted to have some sort of FPS scanning to help, especially with the quests and stuff or missions in Squadron 42.
Right. Do you think there will be different mobiGlasses that you could buy and swap around, or do you think it'll be like a module you could attach to your existing mobiGlas to upgrade its functionality?
That's a good point. I think that a modular mobiGlas would be cool. I do know that they have mentioned in documentation they have mentioned multiple kinds of mobiGlas with certain
but that is
backers
years
being,
old.
Yeah.
You mean the old technical document?
Yeah, with like certain people who backed before a certain point getting access to like an explorer's version of said mobiGlas. But yeah, I think
that was also at a time where the whole thing was like a chunky Pip-Boy style device instead of the sleek bracelet that Jay Lee facelifted it to a while ago.
Conceptualized by Jeremiah Lee. But yeah, so I think that CIG kind of have this whole what's going on.
And I just reminded me. You know how you have those stupid clothing commercials. Marc Jacobs for Marc Jacobs by Marc Jacobs. So you have mobiGlas for Star Citizen by Jay Lee. Whispering.
With like classy, like black and white, and it's just Jay Lee on like a beanbag chair going,
Yeah. Oh my god, we still need to do that now. uh, but yeah, that was yeah, the thing was much clunkier back then, and you had an Explorer version that was actually conceptualized back then already for that sort of stuff. Not just interacting with the world, but also uh, mining, scanning for plants, scanning what kind of plant something is, and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem like CIG are kind of like on that track now for modular stuff. I mean, I do believe that the multi-tool was always supposed to have modular pieces that came separately, but it wouldn't really strike me as odd if the mobiGlas also got modularity to it eventually. Things like
Or maybe you
scanning.
just have to keep on adding bracelets for every different module you have, then you end up like looking like Matt Mercer with his leather sleeve of bracelets.
Yeah. So I feel
If you don't know what that is, just never mind.
like we do the bracelet thing in my family as well.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. But like as for the mobiGlas, I do believe that I think that there's several ways they could do it. They could either make it modular. They can make it so you have to buy a separate mobiGlas, which might be a bit odd. Or they might make it so that there are separate apps that you would have to somehow get onto the thing. But I think that maybe those apps might just be tied in with the modular things. So it's something you have to buy.
If you had to get a different mobiGlas and you change it via the mobiGlas, you unequip one and then mobiGlas interface just disappears. What do you do then?
Well, I mean, there's still that AR interface that you have without a mobiGlas. So, yeah, you could use that, I suppose. But it's a good point. But as for kinds of mobiGlas features that would come later, I mean, I can think of like an Explorer's one. So like what the surrounding, basically what we have already, like surrounding like air quality.
I think all of them are gonna have that, just because if you have a mobiGlas, it automatically means that you are a spaceman and you go to environments where a breathable atmosphere is not guaranteed.
Yeah,
so to say.
So Shady Face in chat mentions, what about a mobiGlas competitor? Honestly, that'd be pretty cool. Like I know that
not by Microtech.
Not by Microtech. Yeah, just something else. Like a pair Mobitech instead, because Apple's taken. Pineapple.
Yeah, but
But medical mobiGlas would be cool. Or medical mobiGlas app would be something I would expect them to add in the future.
So and like not a botanical but biological survey one maybe.
Yeah. For scanning.
Yeah, basically, if you scan something with a regular mobiGlas, it just says tree, bush. But with a proper one, it could tell you if the fruit contains toxins that are either that are harmful to you, or maybe it has substances that are good for you, or maybe it's a potential resource for drugs, or any kind of drugs.
Or like an economics
beneficial, or
like an economy mobiGlas as well, like one that has like is linked to the economy somehow and has stats and what sells for what, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
I guess the possibilities are kind of limitless depending on what exactly they want you to be able to do in the end of the day. Like they could have one that's more combat oriented.
But you also don't want too much fragmentation. And then you end up with like 50 different types of mobiGlas, and
like the way we have 200 different kinds of ships right now.
They're not different types of ships, though. They're just flavors. So, you have 500 different Android phones, but it's still Android at the core of it.
Right.
They basically all do the same thing, just at a different price point.
How did we get on this tangent?
I have no idea. Mining? Yeah, scanning for mining.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. So, what do you think about mining so far? I mean, like, do you think they've done a good job with hand mining for version like tier 0 implementation, or like?
It's okay. This is something. It reminded me of something I didn't like with the prospector mining already, and that is how laggy the interface is.
Laggy.
Laggy. Yeah, I wonder if is it just my experience or is it game wide? But any interface where you have to control it with a scroll wheel, be it top speed or walking speed or thruster power, that those respond instantaneously and in a linear fashion. But mining,
Mm-hmm.
for at least for me, it like takes a second or two for that to register, and then if I go by one notch, almost nothing happens. If I go several notches in a quick succession, it just jumps up to
I
100.
get what you mean, and that happens to me as well. And I have
I
no
don't
idea.
like it.
Yeah.
It's both laggy and feels like it's like accelerated. Like
Mm.
the faster you move it, the more input you give it, and everything else doesn't behave like that.
Maybe it's tied to like your system settings for your microphone, for your mouse scroll wheel, perhaps.
No, because like I said, everything else behaves linearly and instantaneously, but
Right.
it's the mining that's weird like that, and it makes it super weird when you wanna. So if nobody knows how mining works, basically you point your laser against a rock, starts spinning, and then you adjust the power output. So, and then the more power you give it, the faster power starts getting stored inside the rock, and you have a little meter for that. And you have to keep that meter in a certain area in the green zone, and then the green zone fills up, and then if you keep it there, the rock will crack, and you get to pick it up. If you go too far, the red zone starts filling up, and that happens a lot faster, and the entire thing blows and sends you, yeah, sends you in different pieces.
Pretty
Nice
much.
miming, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. That's for our viewers who are hearing impaired,
Yes.
because we don't do subtitles yet.
But yeah, so
But yeah, and it makes it very difficult for you to maintain that because it doesn't happen instantaneously. Once you get into the green zone, the power just starts shooting up, so you have to really dial it back. And then because it's so laggy, you go too far, and then of course you go too far and it starts dropping. Then you have to go back, and then it's just like this oscillating thing that is just.
So the way I see it, I think that maybe perhaps you're really frustrated by that.
I am,
But
I
the
am,
way I
because I
see
want
it,
to like it so much, but it's so frustrating. I get it. I can deal with it. It's not too difficult, but it just seems like it's inconsistent with how other things behave.
so I think that delay might be intentional in order to try and make it more difficult and more skill oriented. I think that because yes, when you're using the scroll wheel to affect the gauge, if you move your scroll wheel very, very slightly, nothing will happen. If you move it a bit, then there's a 1 second delay before the power reading actually registers and goes up or down. I think that that might actually be intentional because there is, you can kind of adapt to that latency and you
You
can
can adapt, but it's like playing an FPS shooter with lag, with a second of lag.
right, but it's not an FPS shooter.
It's frustrating.
It's mining.
It's a FPS. It's a FPM. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
but like
First person.
first person mining. But I feel like it might for now just be part of the skill like cap for mining. But I
It's just
think
frustrating because in the end, you like I said, you can get used to it, and I'm just about everybody can get used to it. And it's I would prefer the linear approach.
I think what would make it easier for you and also just in general, but might make the experience too easy is if when you'd use the scroll wheel, then you would have an arrow the same way your throttles works, that would go to your desired point, and then there would be a delay, for it to then get to where you want it to be.
That could work,
Yeah.
but it doesn't happen.
But if that happened, if that was there, it would make mining much easier. And I think
It
that
would.
that's part of the difficulty in mining.
Yeah, I guess, but it just feels weird
I
because
know.
because
There,
the scroll wheel is connected with at least two other sliders.
Mm-hmm.
You have the speed limiter on the left of the HUD, of flight HUD,
Yep.
and you have the throttle power,
Mm-hmm.
thruster power, which is on the right of the HUD. And then you have on the multi-tool, you have the power gauge. So you, in 3 different instances, you have the scroll wheel directing a line going up and down from minimum to maximum.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2 of those instances, it happens instantaneously and linearly. On the multi-tool,
Because it's a different system. It's mining, not flying. But I get your point. I do. And again, in that iterative process, I feel like it's either A, a bug, or B, intentional. And if it's intentional, then they're probably just thinking of different ways to make it more skill oriented. Maybe in the future, there might be rocks that are easier to mine and more difficult to mine based on that. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Maybe the best way to do it would be just fire up Spectrum and post a question there for the devs, whoever's working on it, because it happens the same way on the Prospector.
It does, which makes me think that it might be intentional. But
Might be intentional.
yeah.
But like I said, let's try talking about something else, because we just keep going in circles.
So mining, I guess, comes hand in hand with caves. Caves being one of the new things that they added to Star Citizen, being able to spelunk and explore.
Few lighting issues in J, but other than that.
So I would say it's only one. Not 2. Yeah, for now. Yeah, I mean, the caves are beautiful. The art guys and the design guys did an amazing job making those caves look fantastic. As far as gameplay is concerned, I think caves leave a bit to be desired. In my opinion, well,
you have missions to go looking for missing people.
That's fine,
and that's it.
Yes, but that's not it. What I'm getting at more so is the fact that I feel like how does one put this to words? I feel like the caves are too gamey, but also at the same time, I feel like they might be a bit too windy at the same time. Like I feel like, well, first of all, when you find a cave, there's this yellow lichen, and that yellow lichen is as obvious as as Mirror's Edge. You see it, you kind of know where to go.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And that kind of makes it really, really gamey in a world where everything looks very...
It's possible to actually turn it off in Mirror's Edge.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I feel like as a start, the yellow lichen is a good touch, but seeing it everywhere that's interactable makes it look like something completely different. Like if
maybe it's just their way of exploring how they could train the user base to look for these interactable surfaces.
Looking for cues, yes. But I feel like having just the one is a bit much. Like if it was look for yellow lichen, or look for like a divot that looks like somebody's worn into the thing because they've gone there before, or look for this, that, the other, then I think that could make it a bit better. But
possibly we'll see them at the same time that we also see other types of caves.
Yeah.
Because currently we only have a single type of cave called the Rocky Cave.
Yeah. And
there's going to be ice. Probably is going to be ice caves.
Yeah, for yellow.
And what is the actual definition? It is a type of rocky cave, but the kind of caves that actually I'm going to in about a week.
Okay.
That is limestone caves, I believe there are.
Okay.
Because they are formed by water flowing through, and they create these almost organic shapes. The caves with stalactites and stalagmites and pillars, these chunky looking things. Because right now there's the surfaces are flat, more slate-like rock, I believe you would call it.
Okay.
Instead of these bulbous shapes, because they're formed by water dropping for millennia, and the way water drops, it creates these more organic shapes of rock.
I mean, limestone's only one kind of rock. It's was like calcium carbonate or something.
Calcium carbonate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but I
No,
mean,
but those kind of
I get what you
caves.
mean. I
Yeah.
get what you mean.
Mm,
That'd be cool. I'm looking forward to other features in caves as well, like rivers that they mentioned. Yellow has like rivers underneath it and stuff in the lore. That'd be kind of cool.
mm. But for Daymar to have any sort of life on the surface, you would think that they would have underground rivers. So maybe
Hmm.
you would just have a huge river going through one of those caves, and you have to find a way across to get to your destination or
That'd be
something like
cool.
that.
That'd be really cool.
Mm.
So in chat, Night Lustrous asks, could there be cave habitats? So right now in the game, there are a couple kinds of caves. You have the unexplored caves, and you have the inhabited caves or whatever, right? Like the inhabited, the
I think the
uninhabited, and there's like
on Daymar it's called the Kudra ore mine
yeah.
closed.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
and it looks like people have already been there. There's props and stuff in there. There are items you can collect. As
Mm.
for habitats for people to be in, I'm not sure about that, but they have mentioned that they're looking into a prison system that
Mm.
they want
Yeah.
to use
Just
caves
yeah,
for.
yeah. Mm. Yeah. You could actually get flares at those sort of encampments in caves. Those exist. You have sleeping bags and you have pieces of equipment all over. So it's
Yeah.
definitely sort of like a semi-permanent encampment that somebody set up. So those could definitely work. But yeah, it would be great if you could just
Use
um,
them to log out would be amazing.
mm-hmm.
Like
But
the rest shelters.
let's do the surface outposts first, and then
Yeah, it'd be really
yeah,
awesome if you could do that with the surface outposts in the game as well. It'd make it so much more like,
yeah.
yeah.
Or just. But I was thinking that you get to um the end of a cave, and all of a sudden there's basically just a door,
Mm-hmm.
like a proper built door of an outpost, and you open the door, and inside is probably built up, lit. It's basically an outpost but underground.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, why not? Like, we already have the outposts. All we have to do is just plunk one in there, and I
Mm,
guess it would make sense depending on the kind of cave.
yep.
Hmm.
But that would also maybe possibly indicate that there's another entrance to the cave, which is something that I don't think they considered
I mean,
when they made these caves,
I
at least in
don't
the
think.
first iteration.
Yeah, I don't think that the current caves have more than one entrance, but that
Mm.
can change. But as for caves in general, I have hopped onto a few streamers and stuff, like looking at caves and such, and it does seem like a lot of people, especially ones who are going in by themselves, get lost really easily, and
Mhm.
they not lost in wow, I'm having so much fun exploring, but I'm lost, I'm frustrated. How the heck do I get out?
Maybe they should just look for the lichen, like you said.
But the lichen only goes one way. The lichen takes you inside the cave. It doesn't take you out of it.
Oh, well, if you have to go up to go get out of the cave, you also see it because it is on the vertical
Everything
face of the little
interactable.
ledge.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, the lichen. I mean, I've already complained about already, but like what? In the cave that we explored, there is like a little like bowl inside, and it goes really deep. And there is
Mhm.
like steps that go all the way around the inside of it, and each step has lichen
The
on it.
same texture.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if it was like somebody who like, if it was white paint because like people
Mhm.
like it was an inhabited cave, it would make more sense to me.
That would make sense. But
Yeah,
also, what would make sense? Paintbrush. Make your own.
that
Somewhat semi-permanent decals, or not decals, but whatever the graphics term is, the
mm,
same thing that when you shoot a wall and it leaves a hole, and then after a few seconds it fades away. That sort of graphical feature that you could leave your own mark on instead of having to go glass
yeah.
utility all the way down, utility item, equip flare, out of glass, press 4, look down, activate, look down, place on the ground.
So
Every single time.
so on the inhabited caves, they actually you can find
Clunky.
you can find flares as well for the time being as well. If you want to do all that and buy your own, you can also just find ones on the floor and turn those on, or pick them up and chuck those.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, but like I said, it's a very clunky
It's incredibly clunky.
for the sake of for the sake of realism, I guess. Very clunky interface.
Mm,
I think you should be able to just have you have the big backpack. Why not just have that act as a sort of dispenser for a maximum of say 10 flares?
true.
Mm.
True. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe that's the future of the personal inventory, because right now we still have the global inventory that
yeah.
works everywhere. Magic bag of holding.
Yeah, I mean, like the inventory is incredibly clunky, but they have managed to make the Moby-Gloss in general faster to use. The
Mm.
animation is much faster, quicker, and cleaner. But as for the actual components of the Moby-Gloss, it's still, I think they're waiting on that new HUD stuff because it's still quite it's just clunky. It's
Yeah, the new UI system.
yeah.
I keep forgetting what it's called. Building blocks, I think. Yeah, building blocks. That's what it's called. Basically, Zane and his team are creating jQuery in Star Citizen, which is a library of user interface elements that can easily be put together by anybody who just reads the manual and doesn't need a degree in graphical design.
Hmm.
So yeah, possibly waiting for the implementation of that. It's also going to help them create bespoke user interfaces on ships, on HUDs, and MFDs.
Yep.
Yay.
So I'm looking forward to that. It should be pretty cool. Once that's all said and done.
UI needs a refresh
It
badly.
really does. It really does. Vegna Chaos asks, what will CIG do about organizations taking over caves full time so no one else can get in them?
Probably just sit back and watch what happens. The same thing that they did with Jumptown.
Exactly. You know, if that ever becomes a thing, that's gold for CIG because Star Citizen at its core is a sandbox MMORPG, which means that the gameplay is created, at least like the meat of the gameplay is created by the interactions of the players. And if a group of players say, this is ours now, what's going to happen? You're going to have resistance from another group of players who want that for
Mm.
themselves. There's going to be battles. There's going to be a ton of gameplay that, you know, is, I guess, mediated by the spaceships and the guns and stuff you can buy in the game to make it work. So yeah,
If
it'd
if
be
it's
good.
if it's supported by the system, I don't think that they should do anything about it. Maybe
Mm,
tweak the system to make it harder for them to do that. Maybe on Daymar they couldn't do that because Daymar is protected by the UEE, and no one organization should be able to own or take possession of a part of it. Although then again, Daymar is under Crusader.
it's owned by
Not
Crusader.
UEE, yeah, not
Yeah.
UEE. So you'd get Crusader security coming down after you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that CIG already have full intention of allowing players to purchase bits of like unclaimed land. If
Hmm.
a cave happened to be that in the future, then it's already gameplay that's supported by CIG. It
Mm.
being on Daymar or whatever, because that's what we have at the moment. I think that what will CIG do about it? They'd probably talk about it on ISC and say how awesome it was. The same
Yeah.
way when people got mad about them not doing things in Arena Commander, they spun it to make it this whole narrative about people shooting people at Cryastra. It's kind of fun, actually.
Mm.
Like,
And also, what was it? What was it? What did I wanted to say? Help me out here, Meyer.
no.
Damn it.
What were you
Oh
trying
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
say?
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, there you go.
So you have like a version 2 of the cave that has multiple entrances. So you have a cave that has entrances on plots of land owned by different people.
Mm.
Who gets to own the cave?
Good point. Honestly, I mean, like, I don't know if people can even contest claimed land. If you grab one of those things, say, this is my land, you take it to the
Hmm.
TDD, and, you know, you claim it, that's your land.
It's yours forever.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't unlike
It
that.
should be actually. It should be actually yours forever, just because they sold it for actual in real life money.
Yeah, that's dumb. But like for non-UEE space, if somebody takes like terrain, I would say that somebody else, if it's like nice terrain, somebody else should have every right or every means to be able to try and take that back from you. Because
Mm.
it doesn't make any sense to say no you can't. And like but anyway.
Yeah, it's like in real life. The only reason why countries exist is because other countries agree on where the borders should go and where who owns it and who's allowed, who is
who whom
yeah, whomst
whomstended.
yeah, who's in possession of the rights for the resources and everything.
Mm.
So yeah.
Whomst. Yeah.
And in game that's going to be UE, but then you also have will have territories outside of UEE protection. So no man's land there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question?
Like, nope. I was talking about something completely different. As far as features go, I mean, we already talked about the Mantis, didn't we? We talked about that last.
We talked about last time, yeah, and now it's sort of out in a sort of guerrilla type promotion.
Would you call it promotion? I guess kind of, because they only kind of. I mean, they don't only show up in on streams. I've seen some people.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but then again, I mean, like,
Which
whatever.
means you're not famous streamer enough, I guess.
I mean, like I said, then they're not just sending them at streamers. Like some people posted,
Oh no,
yeah, screenshots and stuff as well. It's just
they're
QA
testing.
Whenever they're testing. You might
Yep.
see a thing until they're ready to
Yeah,
go
so
gold.
yeah, gold years. Yeah, you're not able to spawn it in just yet, but yeah, QA. It's interesting to see QA actually testing the thing in the PTU environment instead of their own build like they usually do.
Yeah.
I guess we didn't see that with the 890 jump is because the patch went to proper live, before they started testing it in their PTO. So basically, PTO goes from QA to ETF to Wave 1 and then onwards.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But the Mantis looks cool from what I've seen so far of it. I think that some people actually managed to get inside one of the dev Mantises. It looks kind of bare on the inside, but that might also be one of the reasons why you can't use one or test one yet. They're not done with object passes. It looks very bare in there.
Yeah, and the LODs seem broken right now.
Yeah.
But it looks very Star Trek-y.
Incredibly Star Trek-y. Again, it reminds me a lot of the runabout from the new Star Trek.
Oh, does it? Which new Star Trek?
The VR one that I played a while ago.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant one of the shows. No. It reminds me of, I would say, is the Nova class, which was a type of starship that Voyager encountered on its way home. Kind of looks like Voyager, but smaller.
Right. So Vegna says, I hope that Connies get a rework after seeing the Mantis cockpit. I don't think that'll happen, simply because the Mantis is a new ship. In Star Citizen, in its lore, the Mantis is a ship that got manufactured 2949 or present year, whereas the Constellation ships are a century year old or something like that.
Are they?
Old. I forget the year, but like we're talking like decades, if not a century years older.
We need Paul on this show to confirm all this.
No, just listen to my hearsay.
Because when they did the refresh of the Constellation, wasn't it like that it's new for 2947, the Constellation or something like? Or was that the Aurora?
It might have been the Aurora, but I'm just really quickly checking Star Citizen lore. But if I can't find it,
I entertain the troops.
March.
Yeah. The Mantis, from what I've seen inside, looks very quaint. There's a single bed and there's a seat and there's quite a lot of interior for just that. It's, it has the interior amenities of less than that of a 300 series, but it has a lot more room, physical room on the inside. It's almost as capacious as the Terrapin, or even more so.
Mm.
So you're possibly right. Maybe there's still a lot of stuff that's missing from it. Maybe like a dedicated scanning station, like the with like a transparent wall, display wall, like the Vanguard Sentinel has. One of the things that's also in 3.7 is the Vanguard refresh.
That's true. Looking forward to that.
Um,
Oh wait, that's already out, and it looks interesting.
they look very interesting. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have the Harbinger that has missile turret, basically dumbfire missiles, and you a torpedo launcher, which is very nice looking. There's actually a window on the inside where you can see the torpedo drop. Um, and the Sentinel is like an E-war thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
and all of them have like a very bespoke skins, and all basically look on the outside the same as the hoplite, which they now share the body with.
right.
So you got something on the Constellation?
Yeah. So the Constellation model is actually from 2918, so it's only 30 years old. But
Mm.
I guess 30 years is enough for them to develop bubble canopies that look better or whatever.
Yeah, like if you just look at car design, 30 years is massive. Like you just went from very clunky and boxy 80s design of cars to very sleek looking stuff that, for instance, I own. And yeah, 30 years is a lot in design.
Yep. And the actual RSI company in lore was since 2075.
2075,
Mm.
yes, a very young and
Preneurial.
entrepreneurial Chris Roberts created the first quantum drive. Yes, first product of Robert Space Industries was a power converter, a more efficient power converter for the military, I believe. I do read my lore.
All right. So yeah, I couldn't find anything else apart from that the Constellation line is about 30 years old, and the newer things like the Mantis and the Apollo are newer, and so they will look more modern. Going forward, I mean, who knows? Like once the game has been released, I would hope they would start to release things like more modern looking constellations and stuff, or even like something else that's not even called Constellation, just so you
So
have variety in the verse or more.
right, so the younger the RSA ship is, the fewer struts it has in the cockpit. So the Bengal is just all struts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a jail cell, like
Mm.
vertical struts all the way across, and some horizontal, even some going through the cockpit, like through the pilot
Yeah. So
for safety.
yeah, it's like a roll cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Is there anything else new?
struggling to think about new features.
There's no new locations.
No new locations. No.
You got the sort of a criminality update. You have a new 5-star mission. Like if you get 5 crime stat,
Mhm.
you get a mission to go after the Navy.
So no new
The
location.
hunted becomes the hunter.
Okay. There is, however, there is the Good Doctor is the new FPS
Yeah,
map.
of course.
We did touch
this is
upon
something
it.
we didn't know.
Did we not?
Or did we?
I think we must have.
We probably did. There's some things we didn't touch upon, but now we actually have first-hand experience, and I love it.
Yeah. It's a beautifully done map.
Want those sort of outposts on Hurston, because it's multi-floor. You got underground stuff. You've got rooms for
Activities.
activity, so much room for activities. Yeah. For leisure, you got a gym, you got a lounge, you got a garage, and then you have the 3 different research labs where those people got to work. And you have this beautiful courtyard with a tree in the middle, and very well thought out ergonomically for actual people to live and work there.
And PvP.
And
It's
PvP,
a
yeah, which
PvP
is
map after all, yeah.
it is a PvP map, yeah, and it's what I was thinking, that they went into it less with designing a PvP map and then dressing it up to look like an outpost,
Okay.
and just made an outpost and then tweaked it for line sights and movement and objectives and stuff like that.
I would love to hear from the devs exactly what they did for it, because they have at times, like not at times, but was it Demian? For Demian,
Mm.
they came up with the design of that, like that U shape with like the courtyard and stuff, by getting an existing prop of a coffee maker and then making it super huge.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then just putting corridors in it and stuff.
So the coffee maker I have in my 315p, is that like a very miniature version of Station
A
Demian?
proto PvP map, yeah.
Damn. Maybe they can make one from the food maker, because that's a very interesting prop as well.
Perhaps, yeah.
So, not something that I didn't notice when I was been playing, but it's a welcome change, and it was something that was brought up by morphologists of all people.
Okay.
Is a new skybox.
Is it new?
It's more detailed, less green, darker.
Okay.
And may actually contain proper surroundings,
Elite Dangerous style? Like things actually mean things in the sky?
Probably not that detailed, because everything else still needs to be made and positioned. But maybe just the next system, which I'm hopeful that we'll get to see at CitizenCon in about a month and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be connected with that somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I did notice more colored stars in the sky, more greens, blues, and yellows, but I thought it was just me noticing something that was always there. Yeah. But
No, it's brand new.
That's cool.
It's brand new.
That's cool. I mean, like they've been talking about wanting to update that skybox for some time. I still don't think that it's exactly what they want it to be.
Because it's so repetitive, and it's cloned and mirrored, and you get to see the same patterns everywhere, no matter how you turn.
Yeah.
It would be nice if it was very distinct, so you could actually use it to orient yourself.
That'd be interesting, like for survival and stuff. Yeah, why not? Somewhere in
like
the future.
where is the arm of the galaxy that we get to see in real life on a very dark night, where there's little light pollution? You can see, the Milky Way going across, and we don't have that.
Yeah.
Like,
not yet.
Not
but
yet.
Maybe in the future. I'm sure time lapses will thank CIG for it, because those will look even cooler. Like those time lapse videos, people have like a camera facing like a station, the stars going across.
Or an outpost. Basically, would be better with an outpost on a moon or a planet, because those actually turn, and the entire skybox turns a lot with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Vegna says the Carrick.
Vecna.
Vecna? Oh no, sorry, it's not the hand of Vecna. We watched
Vegna.
Yeah, it is if we're getting jump points, the Carrack would be a logical ship, just because it's always been touted as the jump point exploration oriented one.
Yeah. It would make sense. I think that timeline wise, it's in a good place for it. It's strategically coming out when it is coming out, I feel, and so I'm looking forward to that. One thing we didn't mention, however, I mean, we kind of touched upon Mobigus improvements. They have done some changes to the way that the comms app works now. That looks, and I still haven't fully gone into it. It's a bit unintuitive.
Seems a bit more intuitive. Yeah, like what are you supposed to click on just to use the voice channels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Also, it works sitting down now.
Which is a good change because now, like there it just makes more sense this way.
Yeah,
I complained
instead
about it
of
a while ago.
yeah. So what used to happen is that your character stood up, turned the mobi glass on, and then it immediately turned off, and you sat back down or something like that.
Yeah.
It's yeah, but now it works. It's a bit wonky. It's a bit of an off angle. It's not completely aligned with the camera, but yeah, it
Yeah.
works in every
It
position.
uses some strange inverse kinematics or something that they mentioned. So I guess they just
Kind of breaks sometimes. So you get your hand going like this, and you have the plane of
right.
the display going this way. You fix it by pulling your gun out,
So
and then everything resets.
right. So if it works on the chair, I imagine it works on the bed now as well.
Hmm.
Lying back and doing that.
Mhm.
That'd be kind of cool.
Haven't tried it.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe something to test in the future.
Yeah,
But I think
we always get something to test when we talk about it on the podcast.
we do.
Hmm.
But otherwise, I think we've kind of covered everything, and we've just hit the 1 hour mark.
We did, yeah. We're getting efficient at that.
Yeah, we're
well, just
so
trying
good
to
at
think,
wasting time.
Just trying to think. Well, Dying Star's been upgraded.
Has it?
It's a bigger bigger map. They basically just move the boundaries.
Okay.
There's the attachments that we talked about that it also showed on inside Star Citizen. You have suppressors and flash hiders and recoil compensators and several different types of sights that are very crisp looking now, which is very good.
The new cryo pistol, the salvo.
Oh
Yeah, such a strange concept, but it works.
There's a very interesting piece of lore on the website about it as well, not just in Mobiglass. So I suggest everybody goes and read that. It is about the company and the owner. It's a fairly new company. Only a couple of decades. Had to be Gunworks, yes. Only a couple of decades in production.
Yeah. So the way that the salvo works, for those who haven't seen it yet, so it's like a normal pistol, and you can shoot it like a normal pistol.
It's a big pistol. It fires the same sort of rounds as the Koda.
It's a 50 cal. Yeah, it's just a 50 cal. Yeah. So it shoots 50 cal round, but if you press and hold it, then these like things come out from the side, and they call them cryo hammers. And what they do is that they start to freeze the bullet. And if you hold it long enough, then once it gets cool enough and you release, the hammer smashes the bullet into fragments, and that flies out into buckshot. It's interesting.
It's a handheld shotgun, basically. Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
There's underside flashlights, underbarrel flashlight, and laser pointer. The flashlight actually does something that every light in Star Citizen should do, which is create a flare when you point it at somebody.
The laser doesn't blind though.
Okay, the laser doesn't. No, we tried that. Yeah, we tried blinding Meyer, pointing it straight into his eyes. Didn't work.
Oh,
but we did. But we did find out something.
What?
Which probably has been in for a while, is that the pupils react to light.
They do, yeah. I mean, like they've showed off pupils reacting to light as early as 2015 at that CitizenCon. They showed Gary Oldman's character doing it, but yeah, we able to do it. We used the selfie camera and we flashed a flashlight on the character, and their pupils went. And that was kind of cool. They contracted.
It was very, very subtle, not really.
Yeah, not like a cat. They didn't go.
Nah, it probably would have been better if we did it somewhere where it was very dark instead of just in plain daylight and pointing into the eyes, because the difference wasn't that much. But
yeah,
isn't that going a bit too far, you think? Because it took us how many years to actually notice that it's in the game?
I mean, as for going too far, I don't think so. It's literally just a shader. You people have like hobbyists have done this in VR chat like 2 years ago for their cat hybrid anime waifus, so that when you're in a dark room, their eyes are really big, but when they go outside, then their eyes are like slits, and you can also pass flashlights
Why
over them.
doesn't that surprise me?
So Night Lustrous asks a really good question in chat. They go, I know there's always some sort of bug, but has there been anything that's been fixed that has been bothersome in the past? So like, has this patch
Hover mode.
Oh,
I know
that's a
it's
good
not a
point.
bug.
Thank you, Knight.
It's not a bug.
Mm,
But hover mode's gone,
hover
being
mode is
replaced
gone.
by a different system called proximity assist. Basically, um, uh, makes thrusters have less power the closer to you are to a different object. So you're not spazzing out when you're close to something.
Mm.
But when it comes to bugs, and of course that proximity assist is going to be iterated upon, and I think it's probably the better way to go, because I have made quite a few heated posts on Reddit about people not understanding how physics works.
I mean, it is physics.
It is physics, yes. But bugs,
Nothing that comes to mind straight away. Although, I mean, like they have.
The Valkyrie now doesn't drop boxes through the floor anymore.
Oh, like 100% now?
100%.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So that's one thing. Obviously, hover mode being replaced is a good thing that we forgot to bring up that we did. So thanks for that question. What else? I mean, like as far as bugs, like Caterpillar owners rejoice because now the occlusion is in the right place in the doorways instead of being an inch before and an inch after.
Oh, yeah.
So now, what that means essentially for people listening who have no idea what we mean is that with a Caterpillar,
it's a big ship.
Yeah. So how the game works is that when you're inside a room, the game renders everything inside that room. When you're not there, chances are it's loaded out. With a Caterpillar, it was loading out or not loading in things in a specific room that should have been because the borders were not correctly drawn. So that's been fixed for the Caterpillar, so now it looks nice.
I can't attest to the latter of the freelancer not killing you just because I don't own a freelancer, unfortunately. So you might have to go to another podcast to ask that question, unfortunately.
They should keep it in, like it's the future. Futurama had suicide booths. Why not have the freelancer, which looks like...
And in one particular episode, it was... they used the ship's front leg, which also acts as the stairs.
Oh yeah,
to just basically kill somebody, and then Leela had a joystick on her arm, just went back and forth, and the leg just went.
Oh man, I miss the old design for the freelancer. It didn't make sense for a ship that size, but an MISC ship twice as big as the freelancer with that
definitely could do that. Yeah,
would look really good. Yeah, but like
also it would be one of the few ships, one of the few human ships, where the entry ramp is on the front instead of the back.
Yeah. So far, I mean, it's only the Bounty Defender that has that feature, and maybe the Crucible, depending on where the cockpit is oriented at that time.
Yeah, the Crucible is a very ambiguous ship. Was the front? Was the back? Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a bug with Pro-Tem bounty missions. And look, Dursley. Is it Dursley? Presley, sorry. Oh my god.
Dursley.
Hope you're not watching. Luke Presley of CIG was in Mike's chat today, and he was just talking about that mission, and he said that they don't know why it breaks. But PTU has logging, more aggressive logging this time around, so they should be able to pull it out. And he because Mike actually went on that mission and it bugged out again,
right.
And just as Luke was in chat, and they actually got Mike's actual server logs for that play session, the very index, so they would time index, so they would know maybe at least where to look for and what to look for to find out what's bugging that mission.
Right.
That may not be fixed by the time 3.7 goes live, but at least they're working on it. But other than that, it's a very, very smooth, very bug-free patch. Other than 30Ks, like I mentioned from the beginning of the show.
It's a very smooth, very bug-free patch when you don't look at all the bugs and rough edges.
yeah. No, but I like it. I like this patch so far. It's very playable.
Yeah. I feel like once
there's nothing particularly broken about the game. It's just some stuff that's annoying, maybe.
Yeah. I feel like once everything is the way it should be, and once it gets pushed to live, it's gonna be one of the most, if not the most solid patch that CIG have had, especially with ship rentals and mission sharing and all that.
That's what's coming in.
Yeah.
Well. In ages, not just this year, but in years.
In ages
so far. Yeah, in ages. And the heart attack bug, I believe, is fixed.
Gone.
Is gone.
So yeah.
They have tweaked the actor status system as well a bit, because up until 3.7, if you just jogged, no matter what you were wearing, your heart rate stayed at 60. But now, even if you're wearing heavy armor, your heart rate goes up even just jogging. You don't have to sprint and jump anymore to get that.
Right on.
So they are still maybe your stamina depletes too quickly with the amount of exertion you're under.
Yeah.
But it starts depleting a bit quicker now. So you don't have a resting heart rate when you're jogging, because nobody does that. Nobody has that. Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like there still needs to be a few more differences between the light, medium, and heavy armor. I know it's coming. Like I think it was even I was the one who interviewed Todd Pappy about this like 2 years ago, like during the Star Citizen Happy Hour thing with Disco. Yeah, and he was talking about what he would like for heavy armor and stuff, but obviously that's what he would like, not what's coming.
Yeah.
But there definitely needs to be differences now with all that, especially in things like Star Marine, which is more competitive. Otherwise, everyone's just going to roll up in heavy armor because it's just the thing to do.
I think I have noticed, because we did play Star Marine at the Good Doctor. I think you are a lot faster, more nimble, with light armor compared to heavy. And if you bring out the console and type in PL_show status, it does show you your movement multiplier.
Okay, your movement multiplier, is that a new thing? I don't think I've seen that.
It's been in 3.6 as well.
Okay.
It basically just shows what your top speed is compared to whether you were just wearing nothing.
Right.
It basically just goes down. 1 is maximum, and then I think with my favored loadout, it's 0.9.
Okay. But yeah, it's been a good year for Star Citizen, as Vecna says. For sure it has. And I guess one would expect that each new content patch would be the best patch that Star Citizen has had. I think that this one, more so than others in the past, is that and more, which is good, because that's what you'd expect.
Right.
Yeah.
So shall we wrap things up?
We shall.
Sounds about right. So anyway, thank you everybody so much for joining in. It hasn't been 2 weeks since the last episode, but that is only because next weekend I am away. So we just had a bit of a shift in schedule. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us on Twitch, on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on Spotify, on Google Play Podcasts, wherever it is that you are watching. I have been Darionator. Over there has been Meyer, and this has been the Fortnightly Frontier. Thank you so much for watching.